stealing models, getting scammed out of $1,000, and then threatening legal action. A lot has happened with Kaiju Multiverse within probably the last hour as I'm recording this, and there is a lot to talk about. But I would like to go over what originally happened first. Project Pacific was accused of scamming Tyr out of $1,100, which is not true. They gave Tyr all the models and animations, they just didn't port it for him. And as owner, I feel like that is completely up to Tyr to port files into your own game. So no, Project did not scam Tyr or Kaiju Multiverse, is that Tyr just couldn't figure out how to port something into his own game. Moving on to Bloodbath Godzilla, Bloodbath, the model was stolen. It was stolen from a user named Zeke. Now, Zeke originally gave permission, but there was no payment involved. And Zeke had backed out, and once he wanted to back out, Tyr had threatened him, which actually caused Zeke to panic. Now, if you ask me, this is Zeke's model. It's his. If he doesn't want it in anyone else's game, he doesn't have to have it. There was no payment involved, so he could have backed out at any time. He wanted to back out, and Tyr responded with immediately threatening Zeke. So I went ahead and I checked out the update, and immediately they had copied the map from Kaiju Alpha. The same Kaiju Alpha that's being run by GOG, the same person who's been exposed to be a predator. Now, if you ask me, copying something from a game that's being ran by a pred is definitely not the smartest decision to make. Moving back onto Tyr and his response to everything, it was pathetic. Tyr pushed everything off as a joke. He didn't sit down and actually make a community post about it like he always does. He sat there and he continued to just push blame onto other people. And during this, other people were calling him out, saying that he lied about being scammed, how he's a terrible person because of his greed, and a bunch of other things. And during this, he had called BlackRack, the owner of Project Pacific, a donkey and to import more files. Originally, Tyr did lie to his community, saying how the Bloodbath was originally Mars's model, but however, he was willing to make it right with Zeke and pay him. However, with the two screenshots I showed previously, Tyr has no intentions of that, nor did he ever have intentions. His intentions were to steal the model and to threaten Zeke so he would stay quiet. After being called out for his nonsense, Tyr proceeded to attack random members of his community, members like BlackRack, who own Project Pacific, and then topped off with this statement, "I did what any owner would do," which is honestly the most disgusting thing you could have said in that situation. Stealing a model from somebody and then threatening them to stay silent, yeah, that's not what any owner would have done. Apricotl, if you don't know, is the creator of Bloodbath Godzilla. He did not give Kaiju Multiverse permission to use Bloodbath anyway. So not only is Tyr stealing something that isn't his, he stole a model that doesn't belong to him. Tyr then continues to lie, saying how Vex saw everything, which is crazy because Vex says that he was not involved in anything. Then Vex tries to defend Tyr, saying how he does all this for the community and how the previous owner was money hungry. Which, first of all, Vex, you lied about having an agreement with Toho for Kaiju Showdown, so don't get me started on your bullshit. And Tyr did not buy the game, he stole it. I proved it. He used Crypto Flash to steal the game from the previous owner. However, members from his own staff team did decide to leave Tyr in the midst of all of this, saying that they were disgusted with his actions, how they'll finish up whatever work they have, and that they're moving on to Titan Bash, which honestly, a huge W from them. It's a shame too because this very user was trying to save Kaiju Multiverse, actively trying to change the combat, improve characters, and do a bunch of things to make the game fun again. However, due to Tyr's actions, they will no longer be doing that. And I think it's a huge disappointment to know that his staff team are trying to save his game while he does nothing but ruin its reputation. While the server was on lockdown, Tyr made this post here. Why y'all more mad at me when KA has pedos on their team? He said this to avoid the backlash and get people focused on a bigger issue. Now yes, Kaiju Alpha does have a huge problem with GOG and I am making a video on that. However, that does not excuse Tyr's actions. Currently, that is all the information we have for now. If anything else comes out, I'll make a video reporting on it. But until then, I'll see you guys all next time. Take care.